Hey everyone, Ben with Midwest Climate Engineering Watch here, and today we're going to take a break from the little series here. We're going to discuss some of these issues going on in the world today. Listen, these mask mandates are broken, and by that I mean they don't work, they're pointless, and they're just a system of control over you. When the science that's supposed to back them up isn't backing them up. For some of you, you don't know that Sweden hasn't locked the country down or done anything since the pandemic hit, and they are just fine. They had one COVID death last year. Okay? And yet, here we are, not using our science. We're using our experts, which are the mainstream doctors. And some people that I know have come up to me and said, But Ben, my brother's mother, sister, cousin, uncle is a doctor, and they told me masks work. Really? Well, I tell them to simply look at Russell Blaylock's article, which in the beginning stages when Russell Blaylock came out with this article, they said he was a conspiracy theorist, that he's a liar. And Russell Blaylock is an award-winning, board-certified doctor and very, very accomplished researcher in the medical field. How do you call that man a conspiracy theorist? Anything that does not go against Anything that goes against the mainstream narrative is going to be considered conspiracy theory, fringe, and pseudoscience, regardless of the fact of who is speaking the truth. They're going to try to do their best to debunk it. My friends, fear is the name of the game. Through fear, they get away with the most crimes. When 9/11 happened, the Patriot Act kicked in, and it's still in action. Those of you who love your Trump, who love your Republicans, and love your Democrats, again, I ask you to take a look at the Patriot Act. And remember that the Patriot Act is still in play. Trump signed it again. It doesn't matter who is in office. That has to go through your head. It doesn't matter whether it's Biden, whether it's Trump, whether it's Kamala Harris, whether it's Mike Pence, whether it's Obama, Bush, or any of the Clintons. It does not matter. They are all a part of the game. They are all a part of the system. You don't get into that office without shaking some hands and making deals with the devil. You just don't. And this idea, this kabuki theater that you're witnessing on the television, and it's no more than WWE. WWE has this concept called kayfabe, where you can be lied to 4 times before the psychological wall breaks, before your entertainment is ruined, and that's what mainstream media does. They practice kayfabe. Many of you don't know that Operation Mockingbird never died. Operation Mockingbird was a program used by the CIA to write and edit the narratives of the mainstream media journalists. Essentially, everyone on the TV is really just a paid actor. From the National Weather Service to mainstream national news, from MSNBC to CNN to Fox News, to your local news stations like Fox 2, Fox 4, KSDK, Channel 4. It does not matter who or what. Everyone's reading from a script. I'm sure some of you remember the video of all the journalists reading off of a script together. It was like 30-something journalists from the one of the major media organizations reading all from the same script from across the country. It's easy to follow the pack. It's hard to stand against them. I understand it. I have been criticized. I have been made fun of. I've been called odd. I've been made, guy, you name it, it's been said about me. And I can't help but stand against the lie. The truth has to come to light. For a better society, for a better people, for better education, it has to come to light. Climate engineering is our greatest and most pressing threat that we have. The destruction of the climate is too. To fix those, we have to overpower our governments across the world because they're all working together and they're collaborating together regardless of what the mainstream side of them is doing. To do climate engineering, as I've told in the video before this one, they have to have cooperation across the board. One country cannot set the thermostat. Therefore, other countries know what's going to happen. There has to be advanced warning. I don't know why we are so trapped into this system of lies and this matrix. But remember, you have the ability to get out of it. I understand that the illusion is much easier to swallow. I understand that going to a Cardinals game, a Blues game, getting your food, going to a bar is more enjoyable than dealing with the reality at hand. But this short-term peace is going to cause long-term damage. Burying your head in the sand will not fix the fact that destruction is going to be avoided. Destruction is here. It's been happening for decades now. The only way to fix it is to get these corrupt and evil people out of power by arming ourselves with this information and not voting them in. We have to force our local legislators to put measures in our government bodies that give us the ability to vote of no confidence. That way, if we see a Republican or a Democrat, there's a third option saying vote of no confidence, where we vote them. We don't have to vote for them. We just vote for that particular bill. Vote of no confidence. That means nobody gets elected. We have to get rid of the parties. Political parties, as James Madison said, will be the downfall of this country. And boom, here we are. It is the downfall of this country. This country has no legs to stand on. It is a shell of its former self. It is no longer an industrial powerhouse. It is only a military and information powerhouse. Companies and businesses are shutting down regardless of what the stock market says, and people are still refusing to wake up. There is no savior. No president, no Republican, no Democrat, no congressman, no judge on the Supreme Court will save you. Will save me. Will save anybody. We have to save ourselves. We have to work together to push for a better future. Law enforcement is under attack. One of the most noble professions out in the world. Yes, they've made mistakes. Yes, they've had some questionable leadership, but they are a noble profession. The majority of the men and women in that profession are good-hearted people who just want to come in, do the job, and go home. They want to be able to serve their community. No different than people in the military who want to serve their brothers and sisters. But attacking them and disbanding them will leave us open for military coup. If law enforcement goes, the only alternative to patrolling and giving us law and order is the military. The centralized government will have complete power then. And what then? People, enjoy the time you have. Go to a bar, have some drinks, but please arm yourself with credible information. Don't buy into this mask hype. Don't buy into this vaccine mandates. Don't buy into the fear. You know, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Hiding from the virus won't work. Protecting yourself, wrapping yourself in bubbles, in a bubble room won't work. What we need to do is we just need to deal with this like we've dealt with everything else in this world. Let nature take its course. The reason herd immunity in some articles isn't working because we are quarantining ourselves. We're not exposing ourselves to the herd repeatedly. There's a reason for that. There's a reason that this virus is effective in some populations. It isn't for others. You need to take a look at the fact that this virus was lab made. There's a paper trail that documents all of this, all the way from Harvard to the University of North Carolina to the NIH funding the Wuhan lab $3 million for gain of function studies. And the fact that the wet market right next to the lab somehow gave people the virus. Stop listening to propaganda on the television. Appreciate your freedom. Appreciate what you have. There was a survey done many years ago that said, how would the world be better? And 70% of the population said that if America woke up to what their government was doing, the world would be a better place. The rest of the world knows this. There's a reason that you go to other places in the world and they call Americans stupid, because Americans are easily pacified by cheeseburgers, by sports, by Walmart, by convenience. We have given up freedom for convenience. And it is a hard sight to see. It is a hard pill to swallow. I came to this country as a refugee. I became a citizen. And I love this country. I do not dare to repeat what I do not dare to watch what happened to my country. I just don't care for it. I'll take a stand. I'll do what I must. This idea that we need to go from a free market system to a socialist communist system is another bad sign. The writing is on the wall, and for those of you who can't see it, you have to ask someone to show you where it's at. It is a point of pride for me to come out here and try to tell you this information. It is a point of pride for me to work with most of you in this group and talk to you. I love engaging with you guys and hearing you guys and seeing that you guys understand what's going on in the world. But then there's just some who are completely bought into this system. The world will never go back to once what it was. Hear me now. It will never go back. The paradigm that you knew is absolutely over. It won't come back. The next part, it depends upon you. What will you do in the coming crisis? Will you stand with some of us, or will you kneel with most? What will you do? You're going to have hard decisions to make. I know there's a lot of people with family, and there's a lot of people with sick kids, sick spouses. I understand. But if you want true freedom, if you want true prosperity, sacrifices have to be made. Last year, 10 million people, including my mother, died of cancer. We didn't shut down Wi-Fi towers. We didn't shut down McDonald's. We didn't stop growing GMO food. We didn't stop using Roundup. We didn't stop, we didn't clean up our emissions. We didn't do anything to stop cancer spreading agents and causing agents. We still have aspartame in our diet drinks. There's a pattern here. The real issues never get discussed, only the ones that divide us. What unifies us is bad for them. What divides us is bad for us. I don't know where we'll go. I just know it's not a good place. I know that without your help, without the collective help of many others, we will not succeed. One man, one woman cannot do this. It has to be a community of people. Work together, love each other, and teach each other. Or else this whole thing will fail. This whole thing. There was a time when you can have a point and have an opinion, and you can post it on these mainstream media sites. You can post it on YouTube. You can post it on Twitter, Facebook, regardless of what that opinion was. And now it is censored if it isn't following the mainstream narrative. Interesting. Remember that censorship hides the truth. The only way to beat bad speech is with good speech, not by shutting bad speech out. So anyways, thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. I hope you continue to, and I hope you can continue to work together as a unit, as a community, and we just keep pushing. And as always, choose dangerous freedom instead of peaceful slavery.